In a world where endless notifications, social media feeds, and constant updates pull us in every direction, overthinking feels almost unavoidable. But here's the truth. The key to breaking free from this cycle is simpler than you might think.
Dude, I don't like to be around people that stress me out. That shit will transfer from them straight into you, man. People that worry about everything, that question everything, that overthink everything, that get paralyzed with fear, I can't be around these people because you're going to drown me.
Today, I'm going to show you how to take control of your thoughts, stop the mental spiral, and replace chaos with clarity. We'll dive into proven techniques that high achievers use to make decisions without hesitation, allowing them to focus on action instead of doubt.
But thinking won't change your life. The only way you're going to change your life or change your career or change your health is to take action.
By the end of this video, you'll have a roadmap to master your mind and take back control. And as a bonus, I'll share a personal strategy that's been a game changer for me, something simple yet incredibly powerful. Take a deep breath and give yourself a moment, just you, no distractions. So put this video on full screen and really tune in. Together, we're going to tackle the overthinking that's been holding you back and make room for clarity, confidence, and real growth. This is your moment. It is your chance to take back control of your life. Let's do this. Imagine standing at the edge of a calm lake, and every thought you have creates a ripple. Positive thoughts create clarity, while overthinking stirs up the waters, making it impossible to see the depths below. My friend, overthinking doesn't just cloud your mind, it steals your time, your peace, and your energy. You know, I've been thinking a lot recently about how overthinking can feel like being trapped in quicksand. Every time you try to make a move, the thoughts pull you deeper. But here's something I realized.
If anything can cause everything anyways, why shouldn't I just live the way I want?
I found that line to be very striking when I came across it. Let me tell you a story. There was a time in my life when every decision felt like it carried the weight of the world. Should I take that job? Should I send that email? I'd spend hours dissecting every possibility, trying to predict the future, and honestly, it was exhausting. The truth is, overthinking made me feel like I was doing something, when in reality, I was stuck in the same spot, spinning my wheels. But then I started to see overthinking differently. It's not always the villain. Sometimes it helps us look at the world from a new angle or solve problems in ways others might not. Yet, as useful as it can be, it's your relationship with those thoughts that matter. Are they guiding you, or are they holding you hostage? Here's what made the click for me. When I read about that, emotions are just information. The emotion is information. It's your brain's best guess at what might be going on around you. And like any guess, it can be right or wrong. It's your job to work that out. When I began treating my thoughts as suggestions, not facts, I found the space to breathe, to act, and to let go of the need for everything to be perfect. So instead of getting stuck, I learned to build the habit of self-empowerment. As cheesy as it sounds, self-love and self-respect became my tools. And let me tell you, stepping into that discomfort was one of the most freeing choices I've ever made. Overthinking isn't about stopping thoughts altogether. It's about learning which ones to focus on and which ones to let go. Because when you pay attention to every intrusive thought, your brain starts to believe they're important. But if you learn to let them pass like clouds in the sky, you reclaim control over your life. But now, my friend, I want to hear from you. How do you break free from the spiral of overthinking? What strategies or insights have worked for you? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to learn from your experience as we move forward together. Let me tell you something. Overthinking is like running a marathon, but instead of moving forward, you're stuck on a treadmill, going nowhere. It drains your energy, steals your time, and leaves you exhausted. And brother, I've been there more times than I'd like to admit. I remember one night sitting at my desk, trying to make a simple decision about a project. Should I go with plan A or plan B? What if plan A fails? What if plan B isn't perfect? I spent hours debating, analyzing every possible outcome, until I was so drained I couldn't even take action. That's the cost of overthinking. It paralyzes you, leaving you stuck in a loop of doubt and fear.
Whereas if you act based on values, you can live a life of meaning. It won't always be comfortable, but it will mean something to you.
You know what I realized, my friend? Overthinking gives us a false sense of control. We think that by analyzing every detail, we're preparing for the worst. But really, we're just avoiding the discomfort of action. And the truth is, the things that tend to work in the long term are hardest in the moment. It's hard to stop second guessing yourself. It's hard to trust your instincts. But those hard moments, that's where the real growth happens. One thing I learned is that overthinking isn't the enemy. It's how we handle it that matters. Emotions are like signals from our brain, your brain's best guess at what might be going on around you. Sometimes it's right, sometimes it's not, and it's up to us to figure it out. Instead of getting stuck in analysis paralysis, I started asking myself, what's the one small step I can take right now? That shift made all the difference. Overthinking isn't just about big decisions, my friend. It seeps into the little things too. What to wear, what to say in a conversation, even how you respond to a text. It's exhausting. But when you start focusing on action instead of perfection, things begin to change, as I've learned.
Once you take that first step, you look the beast in the face and you'll start progressing, not linearly, but exponentially in speed.
So the next time you catch yourself spiraling into overthinking, remember this: the cost of overthinking is far greater than the cost of a mistake. Take the leap, make the decision, and most importantly, back it up with action. That's how you break free from the cycle. Before we dive deeper, my friend, I want to know something. How do you handle the whirlwind of overthinking? Have you found that one game-changing habit that helps you regain control? Or are you still searching for the perfect strategy? Share your story in the comments below. I'm eager to learn from your journey and connect. Now, let's keep moving forward. My friend, let me ask you something. How often do you find yourself stuck going over the same thoughts again and again, as if replaying them will magically solve everything? Overthinking is like being caught in a web you spun yourself. And brother, I've been tangled in that web more times than I'd like to admit.
And the rule is you have to make the task small enough so that you'll do it, no matter how small that is.
I have learned that you can break free, not easily, not overnight, but with deliberate action. And as someone once said, the things that tend to work in the long term are hardest at the moment. I knew I had to agree with that statement. It's tough to change habits, but it's so worth it. I'm going to share with you now 5 powerful strategies that really helped me stop overthinking and finally move forward. 1. Interrupt the thought spiral with action. The first thing you have to do is disrupt that cycle of endless thinking. Overthinking thrives on inaction, and the longer you sit with your thoughts, the harder it gets to act. One thing I do when my brain starts spinning is the 5-second rule. The moment I realize I'm stuck, I count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and I take some action. Any action. It could be as small as writing down the next step or just getting up from my chair. The point is to snap out of the paralysis. One thing that helped me break free was understanding this simple fact.
And actually, the things that tend to work in the long term are hardest in the moment.
Action doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be something. Remember, your brain works like a scientist with evidence through action. If you act, even in a small way, you're teaching your brain that you're in control, not your doubts. This step alone has saved me from wasting hours debating decisions that didn't really matter. 2, label your thoughts without judgment. My friend, overthinking is often fueled by the stories we tell ourselves. You might think, what if I fail? What will people think? These thoughts feel real, but they're just your brain trying to make sense of uncertainty. Here's where I learned something game-changing.
The emotion is information. It's your brain's best guess at what might be going on around you. And your brain sometimes gets it right and sometimes gets it wrong. And it's your job to work that out.
Instead of diving headfirst into every worry, I started labeling my thoughts. If I felt anxious, I'd say, oh, that's just anxiety talking. If I was stuck in self-doubt, I'd think, that's just my fear of failure kicking in. This simple practice created a little distance between me and my thoughts, and that distance gave me clarity. Try it out. The next time a negative thought creeps in, don't fight it. Just label it, acknowledge it, and let it pass. It's like watching cars drive by. You don't have to hop into everyone. 3, set boundaries with your time. Overthinking often happens when we give ourselves unlimited time to ruminate. I used to sit for hours replaying the same scenarios in my head, but then I realized something crucial. Time is a resource, and I was wasting it. One trick that helped was setting a thinking time limit. If I had a decision to make, I'd give myself 15 minutes to think it through. Once that timer went off, I had to act, no matter how imperfect the decision felt. You'd be amazed at how freeing it is to put a cap on your overthinking. And remember, your time is precious. Spend it wisely. Don't let your thoughts hijack it.
Attention is the most valuable resource in the 21st century, but our attention is dragged in so many different directions.
4, focus on your values, not perfection. Here's a tough pill to swallow. Overthinking often comes from trying to be perfect. You think, if I just get this right, everything will be okay. But perfection is an illusion, my friend, and chasing it only keeps you stuck. Instead, shift your focus to what truly matters, your values. For me, that meant asking, what kind of person do I want to be? Do I want to be someone who avoids decisions out of fear? Or someone who takes action, even when it's uncomfortable? When you act based on your values, you'll find that the fear of failure takes a backseat. And like I've learned, acting on values won't always be comfortable, but it will always be fulfilling. Take some time to reflect on your own values, my friend. Write them down. Let them guide your actions instead of your doubts. 5, practice the art of letting go. Let me share a hard truth. You can't control everything. Overthinking often comes from trying to predict every outcome, control every variable, and plan for every possibility. But life doesn't work that way, brother. Sometimes you just have to let go. One strategy that helped me was practicing mindfulness. Instead of getting tangled up in my thoughts, I'd focus on the present moment, my breathing, the sounds around me, the feel of my feet on the ground. It's not about ignoring your thoughts. It's about learning to coexist with them without letting them run the show. And if mindfulness feels too abstract, try this. Write down your worries, put them on paper, and then set them aside. It's a simple act, but it signals to your brain that you're letting go, and it frees up mental space for what really matters. So let me tell you something I discovered. Successful people don't have magical brains immune to overthinking. They've just learned to outsmart it. I used to believe that success came from some innate talent or superhuman confidence. But the truth is, success comes from action, not flawless decision making. And action, my friend, is the antidote to overthinking.
Build the habit of self-empowerment, self-respect, self-worth, self-encouragement, self-love. Like, this is powerful stuff.
It's not just about what you do, it's about how you treat yourself while doing it. Successful people practice these habits daily, and that's how they keep moving forward, even when doubt creeps in. They focus on solutions, not problems. Have you ever noticed how overthinking tends to spiral into a focus on problems? Brother, I used to sit for hours thinking, what if this doesn't work? What if I fail? And it was exhausting. But then I realized something. Successful people flip the script. They ask, what can I do to make this work? When I started shifting my focus from problems to solutions, everything changed. One time I was stuck deciding whether to take on a challenging project at work. I kept overthinking all the ways it could go wrong until a mentor told me, just start with what you can control. That small shift in mindset from what if I fail to what's my first step helped me dive in and figure it out as I went along. They don't let thoughts hijack their actions. My friend, your brain is going to throw all kinds of thoughts at you, some helpful, some not. One thing successful people understand is this.
And when we pay attention to an intrusive thought, then the brain has no choice but to focus on it.
The trick is learning which thoughts to entertain and which ones to let go. I'll never forget this moment. I was about to pitch a big idea to a client, and my mind started saying, they're not going to like it. What if you mess up? But instead of getting stuck, I told myself, this is just noise. Let's focus on the value I'm bringing. I went into that meeting with more confidence than I felt, and guess what? It worked. The idea got approved. They use overthinking as a tool. Now, don't get me wrong, my friend. Overthinking isn't always a bad thing.
I think the overthinking can be a positive, Alex, is that it can help you to see the world differently or think through different scenarios in a more holistic way.
The key is knowing when to stop thinking and start doing. For successful people, overthinking isn't about spinning their wheels. It's about preparing the road. They use their thoughts to map out possibilities and risks, but once the map is clear, they hit the gas. The next time you find yourself stuck, ask yourself, is this thought helping me or is it holding me back? If it's the latter, let it go. They commit fully to their decisions. My friend, if there's one thing I've learned from watching successful people, it's this. They don't waste time second-guessing their decisions. They make a choice and then commit to making it the right one.
For me, has been a huge drive for my work ethic. I'll give it 100% or I'll give it nothing.
I remember a time when I hesitated about whether to take a leap into a side business I was passionate about. I kept overthinking whether it was the right time until I realized there's no perfect time, there's only now. I decided to go all in, and because I committed fully, it turned into one of the most rewarding experiences of my life. They lean on habits, not willpower. Let me tell you, successful people don't rely on willpower to beat overthinking. They rely on habits. They set up routines that keep them moving forward, even when their minds try to hold them back. Whether it's starting the day with a quick workout, journaling their thoughts, or blocking off time for focused work, these habits become their safety net.
A habit is when you've done something so many times, the body knows how to do it better than the brain.
One habit that's worked wonders for me is setting daily goals the night before. Instead of waking up and letting my mind run wild with what ifs, I know exactly what I need to focus on. It's a small change, but it's made a massive difference in how I approach each day. Instead of waking up and letting my mind run wild with what ifs, I know exactly what I need to focus on. It's a small change, but it's made a massive difference in how I approach each day. My friend, let me tell you something I wish I had realized sooner. 1 year from now, you'll either be complaining that you never got started or celebrating all that you've done. The choice is yours. That quote hit me like a ton of bricks because it's so true. Every day we spend overthinking or procrastinating is a day we're pushing our dreams further away. I've been there, stuck in that loop of thinking, planning, and second-guessing myself. I'd tell myself, I'll start tomorrow, but tomorrow always became the next day, then the next week, and before I knew it, months had gone by. Brother, it's not about making the perfect start, it's about starting, even if it's messy. Here's what changed everything for me. I built a roadmap. I sat down and wrote out my big goals. But instead of letting them overwhelm me, I broke them down into bite-sized steps. I learned something powerful from this. If a task takes less than 30 minutes, it feels achievable. And once you start, momentum takes over. It's like writing just 5 words of a novel. Those 5 words can turn into 50 before you even realize it. The next step is committing to consistency. It doesn't have to be perfect, just show up every day, even if all you can do is a little. I'll tell you what I did. I committed to writing just 1 paragraph a day for a project I'd been procrastinating on. At first, it felt small, almost insignificant, but after 3 months, I had written an entire draft. That consistency turned into confidence, and confidence turned into progress. And here's the magic, my friend. As you slowly ramp up, you'll look back and realize you've conquered procrastination without even noticing it. The big, scary goals that once felt impossible will start falling into place because you didn't let overthinking or hesitation hold you back. So what's stopping you? Take that first step today, break it down, commit to starting, and trust the process. A year from now, you'll thank yourself for having the courage to begin. Let me leave you with this, my friend. Action is the antidote to overthinking. It's not about having it all figured out. It's about making the choice to take 1 step today, no matter how small. We've talked about how to cut through the noise and take back control of your mind. Now it's on you to put it into action. Whether it's something big or just a tiny move, every step forward matters. Remember, progress always beats perfection. If you're ready to keep this momentum going, you might want to check out this video right here. Let's keep building together. You've got everything you need to make this happen, so don't wait. Let's do this.